Hello viewers, what I have here today is a very special fan to me in particular. This is a 1998-1997 Lakewood Model 200i with the brace blade and the McMillan motor. With the instruction booklet, or the little fold-out thing, with the feet that I have in a bag there because I'm not going to use the feet, and the original package. I picked this up off of Marketplace yesterday for $5. The seller had another fan I was interested in, but they had already sold that fan by the time I got there. And I almost wonder if I hadn't already spoken for this one, if they probably would have bought this too. But I'm very glad that I got this one in the end. I'm very happy to have this. This fan, for me, has a bit of a story. When I was younger, I don't remember when, but when I was younger, probably, I think it was like 13 maybe younger than that. 13, maybe younger than that. Sorry if I repeat myself. But my aunt used to live in an apartment complex, and 50 feet from her front door was the dumpster for her side of the complex. And I used to go to my mom's every weekend. Split family, it happens. I would go to my mom's on the weekends, and she would go to see her sister, my aunt. But I would already gotten into fans and all that long before then. I've been in the fans since I was an infant, practically. But I would frequent that dumpster to try to find fans, or especially computer stuff, because I'm really into computer hardware as well. And one day I checked the dumpster, and I found one of these exactly like this laying in the dumpster, and I fished it out of the dumpster. However, on this particular day, my mom wasn't having any of it. She wouldn't let me. She wouldn't let me take it home, and I was really upset about it. I did have other brace blade Lakewoods at the time, but they were later versions than this. This one I was really into. I really wanted to grab this one and take it home because it was in great shape, and it also has the McMillan motor as well, which I was really interested in. But yeah, so my mom wasn't really having any of it that day. She kept giving me the usual, you have too many fans, or it's from the dumpster, so it's probably got bed bugs or something in it. That kind of thing. But yeah, I was really upset about it. She wouldn't let me take it home. It also, it didn't run. I think it had a blown thermal fuse, and I knew that at the time. At the time, I was replacing thermal fuses and fans by that point, and so I knew what it was. I knew what was wrong with it. But yeah, so my mom wouldn't let me have any of it, and so when we left, she made me put it out next to the dumpster. I set it on, like, right on the side of the dumpster. Um, uh, but yeah, and we left, and that was that. But there's actually more to the story. Uh, so the next day, I should also mention there were some kids in this particular complex that I hung out with once, and eventually they kind of wrote me off as a little weird because of well because I was a child with autism. I was a little bit weird around other kids, and it's part of where my obsession comes from with fans in general. But yeah, so the kids in that complex, they saw that particular interaction with my mom with that fan, and they took the fan and they smashed it to pieces with a bat, and they threw the husk of the cabinet with the motor and the blade hub over the fence so that I would A, see it, B, I couldn't get to it. And we came, and we returned, I think, later that weekend, and yeah, it was. I saw the husk of that fan over the fence, and saw the pieces everywhere, and I was I was pretty upset, man. Man, that was a bummer. It was yeah, those kids were just but so I've always wanted one ever since, but I wanted to get a really nice one. And recently I've been trying to get one of these, but left, right, front, and center, that every single one that pops up online, everybody buys them up. It does. Like, I've I bid on a couple of these online, but people always snatch them right out from under me. So this is the only one I've really been able to grab. There was one of these in my high school computer class, but the teacher wouldn't let me have it either. Well, I never really asked, to be fair. But I did look at it. It was one of these. It was kind of hidden in a corner. She never really used it. I probably should have asked about it, but at the time I was kind of getting more so into the computer stuff. I was kind of getting out of fans at the time. I had sold most of my collection, and yeah, I was getting into other hobbies. But part of me still wanted one of these. So here's this one in particular. That's the end of my story. But yeah, cleaned it up, did all the usual oiling and all that. So anyways, here's low speed. .66. Not too bad for a shaded pole motor. Medium. .05. High speed. I've owned third gens, or the third and a half gens versions of these as well. I would definitely say this is more powerful than those. In fact, I would say the third and a half gens are probably the weakest box fans I've ever had. But this one performs pretty decent. It's not ridiculous. I'd put this on par with any other brace blade Lakewood. But yeah, just happy to have this one in the collection to remind me of the fan that I was denied in my childhood in a pretty brutal way. But yeah, here's the pamphlet. There's a different language there. It's a little stained, so is the box. The lady that was selling it said it sat in their basement for years. But yeah, here it is. Anyways, that's it for my 1998 Lakewood Model 200-I. See y'all later. Thanks for watching.